What's up, everybody? It's Priyon Joni. So today we're going to finally look at Pioneer DJ's latest all-in-one DJ system and DJ controller, the XDJ-RR. So the story of the RR actually starts with the RX, the XDJ-RX, that was introduced in January of 2015. So unlike a regular DJ controller, an all-in-one system is a little different in the sense that it doesn't actually need a computer to play music. In these systems, you can actually export your music using Rekordbox onto a flash drive and play your music just with the flash drive and the controller alone. But what's also cool, if you wanted to use your computer, you have the option of connecting via USB onto the computer and running the Rekordbox DJ software as well. The whole point of the system was not just to have a controller that could play music on flash drives, but it was also because it provided DJs who were planning to go to a gig or to do a set at a show of theirs where they needed to prep and practice the music they exported onto flash drive on something that's more practical to have at home. So before the RX was introduced, the only way you could practice your set was to own a CDJ Nexus setup. And we all know for most folks that's pretty expensive. A CDJ 2000 Nexus 2 is a little over $2,000, and you need at least two of them. And the DJM 900 Nexus 2 mixer is roughly under 2000, I believe. I forgot exactly what, but it's around that price. So having that whole $6,000 setup at home, it's a bit impractical if you're just going out to a show just to play. And that's who they marketed the XDJ-RX. It's basically a controller that you can use at your gigs, but also a preparation tool so that you can prep your music for a Nexus setup. Then in September of 2017, the XDJ-RX was replaced with the XDJ-RX2. Now the model came with a couple upgrades. Most notably, the 4 hotkey buttons are now upgraded to a full complement of 8 rubberized hotkey pads. And from the layout, they also added an auxiliary input. So both the RX and the RX2 had the feature of having inputs on each channel of the mixer section. They're line level inputs that are convertible to phono, so you could actually add 2 CDJs or 2 turntables to those controllers. Both the RX and the RX2 was priced around $1,700. So compared to other controllers on the market, other professional controllers, it's actually a little expensive. It is a lot cheaper than having a Nexus setup, but it's still a little pricey for some folks. Then about 4 months ago, in September of 2018, they introduced a smaller, more compact version of the RX2, which is the XDJ-RR, which we have here. At first glance, the XDJ-RR almost looks exactly like the XDJ-RX, because just like the RX, and unlike the RX2, it has the 4 plastic buttons for the hotkeys instead of all 8 rubberized buttons. But the RR is actually smaller, a lot lighter, and a little bit more stripped down than the RX to make the price more accessible for more DJs. Now, the way they marketed the RR is to be for the bedroom DJs who need to prep their sets. But after playing around with it for a little bit, this unit is pretty robust. The build quality is really good, and it's definitely something that I would say is more than a bedroom DJ's preparation tool. You could actually go to professional settings and your gigs with this unit. So we're going to go one by one on each feature that makes this unit different from the RX and the RX2. So first, let's talk about the outputs. Just like the RX and the RX2, the RR has 2 XLR balanced outputs along with an RCA unbalanced master output. But unlike the RX and the RX2, it does not have a booth monitor output. I actually have a video on how to make a booth monitor output with a separate volume control, so I'll leave that link below. It has one USB port in the back to connect to your computer if you choose to use Rekordbox DJ with a laptop. It does not have the Ethernet port like the RX had, and I think that's not something that they're bringing back. Now, like the RX2, the RR has an auxiliary input for line level devices. I would probably use that for my guitar multi-effects, or if I wanted to daisy chain more DJs. Now, what it doesn't have, like the RX and the RX2, is the individual line level channel inputs. So you can't add CDJs or turntables to this and use the mixer section. Now let's go one by one on the top of the controller. One of the awesome things that it does have that the RX and the RX2 have is the fact that there are two USB ports for the flash drive. The advantage of that is, number one, if you had two DJs, one had to play after the other, you don't have to stop the music because one guy could be playing off one flash drive and the other DJ could come in and plug his flash drive while the other person's playing and seamlessly play from one DJ to the other. Now, the other function of having two USB ports for the flash drives is that you can use the second port to record. So if you wanted to record your set, you could record it using the second flash drive just by hitting the record button. Now, just like the RX and the RX2, it has a 7-inch LCD screen. But unlike those LCD screens, it is not touchscreen. So you have to navigate using the buttons. Similar to how a CDJ works, so it's not really too bad. Now going down the mixer, it looks like a small version of the DJM 900 Nexus. It's meant to feel that way, it's meant to kind of look that way and laid out that way in a smaller setup. I would say it even feels almost like the DDJ-400 with just a little bit more space. So you got 4 color effects. You got the echo, pitch, noise, and filter controlled by the color effects knobs. And you have 3 good beat effects, which is echo, reverb, and flanger. And you can control the timing with the beat buttons instead of having a knob. Now, one of the major differences on this controller, because it is a smaller player, is that the jog wheel is now smaller. The size of this new jog wheel is about the same size as a DDJ SB3 or a DDJ 400. In fact, I think this might even be the identical jog wheel to a DDJ 400. Now, because it is the smaller entry-level style jog wheel, it does not have a rotation indicator light in the middle. For me, who uses a DDJ SB3, I actually got used to not even looking at that anymore. Another thing to note is that the tempo slider on each side is a little bit shorter than the one on the RX and the RX2. And I would say it's comparable, if not identical, to the one on the DDJ-400. So it's not too short, not too long, but I personally had no issues using it. So here's where the XDJ-RR is similar to the XDJ-RX. The fact that they went back to the 4 plastic buttons. Now, even though it has 4 plastic buttons, you can actually access all 8 hot cues if you needed to. And the controls are the same. It's the hot cues, beat loop, slip loop, and beat jump. So let's explore how responsive the jog wheel and the tempo slider are by doing a freestyle scratch and going into a short little mix.
Make it scratch the flow. Make it scratch the flow. Shake your ass and make it scratch the flow.
Shake that ass. Shake it fast. Shake that ass.
Shake your ass, let me see what you got.
Shake that ass. Shake it fast. Shake that ass.
Shake your ass, let me see what you got. Make it scratch the flow. Make it scratch the flow. Make it scratch the flow.
Shake that ass.
Shake your ass, let me see what you got.
Shake that ass.
All right, so a couple things I noticed. I'm usually a Serato DJ user, and something I miss about the CDJs, the way the algorithm is on the way they do the time stretching, you can not only just hear a difference, but the way the kicks and the beats line up, it always stays in line when you're perfectly beat matched. Something I noticed about Serato is that it kind of shifts in and out of phase. The thing I noticed here is that even when I was just a little off, just by a nudge, it sounded a lot smoother. But anyways, that's always been something I favored on even older CDJs. It's just the time stretch algorithm on the Pioneer gear was always my favorite. So yeah, that's the XDJ-RR Pioneer DJ's latest all-in-one DJ system and DJ controller. And if you're coming to Winter NAMM, which is next week, we're going to have a couple of these out at the Pioneer DJ booth. So come check it out and try it out. But if you're convinced you want to pick one of these up, I'm going to leave a link below in the comments so you can order one for yourself. And if it's your first time here and you found this video useful, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that little bell icon so you get a notification the next time I upload a video. All right, guys, really appreciate you guys for watching this video. See you guys at Winter NAMM. All right, take care.